Good evening. The room has turned quiet. It must be time to start. We'll call this March 6th regular city council meeting to order. Call the roll, please.
Berkland.
Yes.
Baller.
Yes.
Walling.
Yes.
Schott.
Present.
Klein.
Yeah.
Okay. Need a motion to approve tonight's agenda, please.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion on tonight's agenda? If not, call the roll, please.
Schott.
Yes.
Klein.
Yes.
Berkland.
Yes.
Baller.
Yes.
Walling. Yes.
Okay. Moving on to the consent agenda. Tonight for this consent agenda, we have the following minutes of the February 21st, 2023 regular city council meeting. Payments for construction services, we have none tonight. Claims, registers, financials, we have $196,489.29. And we have no licenses and permits tonight. So kind of a short agenda for the consent agenda. Need a motion to approve the items under that agenda?
So moved.
I'll second.
Okay. Any discussion? Hearing none, call the roll, please.
Walling. Yes. Baller.
Yes.
Berkland.
Yes.
Schott.
Yes.
Klein. Yes.
Thank you. Moving on to city administrative report. Sven?
All right. Well, as my city administrator reports go from January through hopefully April-ish or May or June or however long this year, give a little bit of a legislative update. Did forward out legislative link last Friday just to make sure everybody got that. So obviously last week was funnel week, so they spent a lot of time getting things through subcommittees and committees. So not a lot of movement on some of those larger items, but I did venture over to Guthrie Center Saturday morning for a legislative coffee with Senator Jesse Green and Representative Carter Nordman. So, you know, probably about a dozen folks there to partake in that conversation, and did have a good conversation, kind of trying to explain our particular situation and many community situations with property tax legislation, as well as local option sales tax legislation. So sent off an email to hopefully have a more in-depth conversation with Representative Nordman. Just kind of explain some things. So hopefully all that could be productive, but it's pretty clear that they intend to not adjourn until they have done something with property taxes. So we'll see how that goes. Did get updated valuations after Senate File 181 passed and was signed by the governor, and that turned out to be about a $45,000 hit on our general fund. So we'll be dealing with that as well. And then from Susie's estimate bumped up to an estimate of about 1817 for levy with that effect. So instead of what we originally had thought of a decrease down 9 cents to 17.90, we'd be looking at a potential increase of about 18 cents from our current levy. So that's kind of where we're at. But from here, we're going to be spending the next couple of weeks meeting with department heads again and going through some of those budgets. I think from what was requested with, you know, raises and all that, we're about $200,000 off of a balanced budget right now. So we'll be going back, having some of those discussions with department heads and getting that a little bit closer. So that's kind of where I'm at. Does anybody have any questions on any of that? All right.
Do you feel like you made any headway with the representative? Or are they lockstep with the government?
Yes and no. I think there is quite a bit of partisanship of, you know, this is what the caucus wants to do. But hopefully we can work on educating our legislators on exactly what those impacts would be, and maybe that isn't quite the right target. So we'll see. You know, hopefully we can have some meaningful conversations. And you know, I don't think anybody around this table is against the concept of lowering property taxes. You know, we're not here, our goal is not a race to the top, right? But we want to do that in a manner that doesn't hinder our ability to provide services. And so that's a lot of what I kind of try to push on is there's a disconnect between those property taxes and the services that are provided. And there is a gap between rural and urban, but I mean, urban communities have some of the same issues we do. Plus, we're competing against the urban communities on wages and employees and all of that as well. So, you know, just all around very complicated tax system. And, you know, we definitely need to make sure that we're not only looking at property taxes, because that would be pretty easy to do compared to all these other states. But there's a good handful of states that share state revenue, and that's how they're able to get lower property taxes. Or they have a 2% sales tax that they can use for their general fund. So, you know, every state is so different and every situation is different. So really just trying to educate and advocate as best we can for our communities and really every community, every county, school district across the state. So definitely, you know, if you have a chance, reach out to your legislators and just let them know what's going on, what Perry is looking like, how this affects, because it doesn't seem like a lot, but that's, you know, that's a 26 cent 28 cent swing for us of before and after, just that 2% difference in rollback. So just important to have conversations, important to let them know how those types of actions affect communities like Perry.
Norman, at least I think, is pretty willing to actually give you time and listen to you. Would you agree with that?
Yep, I would say so.
Yeah, at the same time, he's pretty clear on how he feels on the issues, but he will listen to you. Just to. Anything else for Stan? Any update on Tupper? We haven't had any update for a couple of weeks. How's Tupper doing?
He's doing great. Wants to put everything he possibly can in his mouth. Chew on everything, spit on everything. So he's drooling away and probably not far from teeth. He just turned 5 months.
He's doing well then.
Yes.
All right. Awesome. Thank you. Anything else for Stan? If not, we'll move on to Mayor Council comments. Tonight, I have a proclamation recognizing International Women's Day, which I will now read. Whereas International Women's Day is an occasion to acknowledge the progress that had been made to enhance equal rights and opportunities for women, while noting what we have yet to achieve. And whereas the motive behind establishing an International Women's Day dates back to 1908, when female garment workers in New York City went on strike to protest for their poor working conditions. And whereas International Women's Day, March 8th, which is Wednesday, is a global day celebrating the social, economic, cultural, and political achievements of women, and also marks a call to action for accelerating women's equality. And whereas the theme of International Women's Day 2023 is emphatically recognizing equality, seeks to help focus on gender equality, needs to be part of every society's DNA, and how critical it is to understand the difference between equity and equality. The campaign drives worldwide understanding on why opportunities aren't enough. Now, therefore, I, John Andor, Mayor of the City of Perry, on behalf of the City Council, to hereby proclaim Wednesday, March 8th, 2023 as International Women's Day in the City of Perry, and encourage the community to make International Women's Day your day to do what you can to truly make a positive difference for women and to celebrate women's achievements. You know, we need to recognize the achievements that women have made and pursue those every day, not just one day a year, but this is our opportunity to recognize that. And I certainly want to do that. Thank you. I think that's all I have. Council comments?
We had a successful burn. It's down to roll. with a high foundation.
Mhm.
Gonna keep that foundation.
Nope. It's junk along with the house.
It'll be good to see some new construction going there now.
Yes, it will. Neighbors are anxious.
Anything else for council comments? Hearing none, we'll move on to open forum. Speakers will be asked to step up to the microphone and state their name and address for the record. Individuals speaking will be given up to 3 minutes to address the council. Speakers may address any item on the agenda, of course, as well as any other topics that they want to bring up to us. Welcome, Doc.
Good evening. Dr. Randy McCauley, 2006 16th Street, Perry. And well, I'm sure glad I'm not on the city council. You got some tough issues to deal with right now. I want to address a couple of things that Sven went over. One, this shortfall of revenue for property tax that's facing all the counties, cities, and schools across the state. And as Sven mentioned, $45,000 is what's shortfall for you guys. I guess I just encourage you to look at a balanced approach to making up that deficit. You can raise taxes, and some places are going to do that. Other places are going to just cut their budgets. I'd hate to see us lose services or lose staff positions. I'm not advocating that at all, but I've never known a budget yet that can't be cut somewhere. And I got to think that there's some places that some money could be realized in cutting the general budget. That being said, yeah, you're probably going to have to raise taxes, but in the current economic situation that not just Iowa, but across the country, I think a lot of people are struggling. And, you know, to make up for the property tax situation, you know, landlords may have to raise the rent that they put on rental people that are renting their facilities. Those people are the least able to afford increases in rent. And so I just hope you take a balanced approach to this whole topic, that raising taxes sounds like the quick and easy fix. But I think if you dig in, there's ways to also cut the general budget without rendering services hurt in our community. The other one was the local option sales tax. And I agree with Sven to talk to your legislators about that topic, because it does not seem, I mean, on the surface, it seems fair. Let's just balance it out so that it's an average across the state. That's not fair. That sounds fair, but that's not fair. Not for the situations that our county's in and other counties that have worked hard to bring about the local option sales tax to our communities. So keep lobbying efforts going on that topic. And again, good luck in handling the shortfall of your revenue, but I encourage you to do it in a balanced fashion. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks, Doc.
Anybody else here tonight for open forum?
Misty Von Baron, 2409 Iowa Street. And since we're talking about the budget, I just wanted to thank Sven and Susie and Liz and everybody around the table that has a very important job to do to advocate for these communities. And it's not just the people that work for the city, it's also for the people that live here. And I think we are extremely fortunate that we have people in administration that care about the place that they live. And so it's great that Sven is going out and talking to representatives, but I don't believe that anything is going to get accomplished unless council talks to the legislation and the people talk to them prior to something happening that's going to be drastic. So I encourage anybody that's listening, watching, whatever, to reach out and find out exactly what this is going to do if they pass the legislation that they want to do. So thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else for open forum tonight?
Good evening. My name is Caleb Winey. Live on 802 15th Street, right up past the Von Barons there. But speaking of budget, there's a need that's been, I guess, brought to my attention, and there's a pretty popular sport growing. I recognize some faces behind me that, and even some here on the council that I see playing pickleball. But I have a list here that was signed by everybody that was present this last Friday evening. And I have a total of 41 signatures on here of interest of people from not only in Perry, but I have several from Peyton, Boone, Waukee, Carroll, Grimes, Ankeny, and Ames, Iowa, of people that would be interested in continuing to come to Perry, Iowa to play pickleball outdoors. Currently, Perry does not have a spot to play pickleball outdoors, and our only spot that is even available for an outdoor sport would be our tennis courts and our volleyball courts. Our sand volleyball courts, obviously over by the rec center. I see those being used, but I actually went down and visited the tennis courts over at Pattee Park, and the state that they are in, any seasoned tennis player would not actually risk their own health, mainly their ankles, to actually play on the surface that's down at those courts. And so something that I would like to bring attention or request the council is to try to get something rolling and advocate for some outdoor pickleball court, because we have folks driving. We have two from Carroll, Iowa, and that's about an hour away. It's a 50-minute drive. So I travel to Ames and to Boone and to Waukee, out to Council Bluffs for work and whatnot quite often. And it's nice to play indoors, but as the season changes and the weather gets better, it's also a blast to play outdoors. You spend all day inside under, different lights and inside walls. It's nice to go out and to be able to meet other members of the community and have a nice place to exercise. And if any of you guys know Pattee Park, there's a restroom right there. There's an outbuilding where, families could come play pickleball, have a picnic, and there are people that are willing to travel. And so I would just encourage the council, if there's anything that we can do as a community to open that. And the way the court's set up right now, the courts are played north and south. If we were to remove the tennis nets and resurface it and designate it specifically as pickleball, which once again, I'll reiterate, is the #1 growing sport in our nation right now. If we made the courts facing east and west, we would able to turn that into 4 pickleball courts, which on a team of 4, that's 16 players that would be able to be using Pattee Park. They would have the parking, the water fountain, the restrooms, everything's all right there. And when these people are driving from Ames, from Carroll, from Jefferson, a lot of the times you see them stopping down at the Tin Pig for a bite to eat. They're coming and, they're spending time in the community either before or after. And so there's lights down there. There's a chain fence up already. It would just take a little bit of money to renovate it and install those nets and continue bringing people into Perry. So I decided to take initiative on this and just say, hey, if you guys are willing to, not only, since you're already coming over here and playing at the rec center, they're paying the couple dollar fee to get in and use our facilities here. Would you be willing? Is there a need? Is there a drive to offer an outdoor service? So I think this would be a wonderful way. If anybody wants to see the sheet afterwards, let me know. But yeah, I'd encourage you to, if we could put that on the agenda, or just notice that the need's there, because we're here to serve the people in the community. And this is a good way to serve our community as well as those traveling to Perry, Iowa. So thank you for your time.
Thank you. Good. Anybody else for open forum tonight? If not, we'll move on to public hearings. First public hearing on City of Perry's intent of disposal of unclaimed abandoned property of the Perry Police Department. This public notice of intent to dispose of unclaimed abandoned property was published in the Perry Chief on February 16th, 2023. The purpose of this public hearing is to recommend a procedure that allows for the rightful owner to reclaim the bicycle or other unclaimed property found in confiscated items prior to the tentative date of June 10, 2023, when items will be sold at a public sale or disposed of by other means practical. Anyone who believes that property may belong to them must bring identification, a statement of where the property was lost, and an original serial number or a receipt to the Perry Police Department by 4 p.m. on June 9th, 2023. This public hearing is now open at 6:20 p.m.
Do it every year.
Think, I can't remember, it was this every 2 years? So,
Every two. Yeah, I think 2020 was the last time we did it. Before that, it had been maybe 2021.
just kind of depends on the when the shed is full, we have a sale.
There you go.
So
The shed is full.
it is. So as the mayor mentioned, there's a publication that we have to do with all of the items. And the question every time is there's some credit cards, social security cards, things like that. Those will not be sold. Those will be destroyed. So
That claim list is fun to read.
Yeah.
I was in stitches.
interesting stuff.
How did you lose that?
Anything else for the public hearing? If not, the public hearing will close at 6:21 p.m. Thank you. Moving on to old business. Resolution authorizing disposal of on-claim property. Upon passage of this resolution, the on-claim bicycles, on-claim property, and confiscated items from the Perry Police Department will be disposed of by the city of Perry at a public sale or other means practical on or after June 10th, 2023. The sale will be held from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. on June 10th, 2023 at the Perry Public Safety Building parking lot. Anyone who believes that an item on the list belongs to them must bring proper identification and statement of where the property was lost, original serial numbers, or receipt to the Perry Police Department, 908 Willis Avenue, prior to 4 p.m. on June 9th, 2023. Need a motion, please?
I make a motion to pass a resolution authorizing disposal of unfailing property.
A second.
Any discussion? Again, it's something we do every couple of years or so. If there's no discussion, call the roll, please.
Kirkland.
Yes.
Klein.
Yes.
Mahler.
Yes.
Wally.
Yes.
Schott.
Yes.
Next item, approval rather of pay application number 21 for the wastewater treatment facility improvements. Pay application number 21 in the amount of $528,488.57 to Woodruff Construction is for the construction of the wastewater treatment facility improvements. To date, total payments requested by the contractor are 66% of the total amount of work to be completed under the contract. All documents have been reviewed and signed by the engineer and are recommended for approval. Need a motion, please?
I make a motion we approve a pay application number 21 for the wastewater treatment facility improvements.
I'll second that.
Discussion?
Well, things are moving along pretty good. I spent a little bit of the morning out there with Dave and Jimmy, looking at different things and stuff. Alliant Energy's out there putting the main power transformers in. That'll run the whole plant. They're doing a lot of inside stuff. It's still pretty muddy and stuff outside. So been working on some different projects, having AccuJet clean out some tanks, but the debris and stuff's been so frozen that they kind of got to wait for warmer weather and stuff. But you know, Dave said things are going really good, so I think everything's moving along, and I think that's pretty much it.
So what's your best guesstimate of a completion date from where we're at right now?
Ben probably knows more than
I want to. I think the big thing right now is still just waiting on equipment. So as everybody knows, that could show up next week or 6 months from now. But we talked, I think, was that maybe before the first of the year? They did let us know that we'll probably have to push that completion. Was supposed to be around July 1st, but the new plant would be operational, and then about 6 months of deconstruction of the old plant. So that's probably getting pushed back a little bit just due to waiting on that equipment, the electronics, things like that. So I think it's slowly coming in, but it's kind of one of those things that you can't really put it all together and start it all up until you have everything, so.
Any other discussion? If not, call the roll, please.
Walling.
Yes.
Smaller.
Yes.
Kirkland.
Yes.
Schott.
Yes.
Klein.
Yes.
Okay, next item, resolution rejecting bids for the Frog Creek Restoration Project. As was discussed at the public hearing held on February 21st, 2023, the two bids received at the bid letting held February 15th, 2023 came in significantly over the engineer's estimate of $560,470. Two bids were received and opened from Iowa Earthworks LLC in the amount of $771,475.43 and Windhold Excavating LLC in the amount of $1,112,385. Bolton Inc. recommends the rejection of all bids for this project based on the lowest bid exceeding the engineer's estimate by 37.6%. This resolution would reject all bids submitted for the Frog Creek Restoration Project, release bid bonds, and consider options for rebidding of the Frog Creek Restoration Project at a later date. Need a motion, please?
I make a motion, we pass a resolution rejecting bids for the Frog Creek Restoration Project.
I'll second.
Discussion.
Again, not the way we were hoping this project would go. We were hoping we'd be able to do construction of this later this summer when it dries up. But we're probably going to be ending up bidding this as well as the Iowa Street Wetland Project at the same time as later this fall. There might be some redesign or tweaking of the Frog Creek project, and then with the Iowa Street project, just last week we got back a significant number of comments from Iowa Department of Land Stewardship, of Ag and Land Stewardship, on the 30% designs. So we're hoping to get that on the agenda for the next meeting in March to bid it for farther into the fall construction. But likely hold off and bid both of them later this fall. So that kind of just came up. And so I think that'll be good timing. Hopefully we get a contractor in that bids both of these aggressively to be able to do both projects.
I would expect we'll get more than two bids, so.
Yeah, that'd be the hope. And usually what you see is, a dozen plan holders and then their schedules fill up. And I think a lot of people are just still probably busy coming into this summer. So hopefully later this late summer, early fall, we'll be able to maybe pick somebody up that wants to do some fill-in work at the end of the year, depending on how the year goes, or start on that first thing in the spring next year. We're already talking about spring of 2024.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Any further discussion on this restoration project? If not, call the roll, please.
Mahler.
Yes.
Klein.
Yes.
Kirkland.
Yes.
Schott.
Yes.
Walling.
Yes.
Thank you. All right, next item under old business, resolution setting a public hearing date on the award of a multi-residential development proposal. The city council per resolution 12-121922H authorized the publication and notice of a request proposal RFP for a multi-residential development at the city-owned lot of Blue Jay Edition Lot 8, Block 8, located off Willis, east of the Hamlin Bell Apartments. Such RFP has closed with two proposals received. This resolution will set a public hearing for the March 20th meeting at 6 p.m. for the consideration and recommendation from the review panel on the award for such proposals. Need a motion?
Make the motion to pass resolution setting the public hearing date on the award of multi-residential development proposal.
I'll second that.
Any discussion related to setting that date?
Yep. So back in December, we opened up the RFP for that just under half-acre parcel over there by Hamlin Bell. that RFP period closed on February 24th at noon. Like the mayor said, we received two pretty quality submittals. I believe those have been dispersed to each of you. We did have a review committee. Option 2 was the preferred there. So come the public hearing, the recommendation will be to approve that one. Obviously, this council's decision would be the final one, but that will be the recommendation presented. Happy to answer any questions we may have at this point, just in general, but most of the discussion I think will be at the public hearing. Me as well.
Will they start construction or upon approval of this?
So per the RFP, once we have their contract, they'll be given up to about a year to start. Ideally, they would start April, May. So one of my goals is to try and get the kind of the bureaucracy of it out of the way, just so so they can start early. We ask for certain kind of things from each RFP, from each proposal, essentially to expedite the process. So, yeah.
Thank you. Any further discussion on setting the public hearing date? If not, call the roll, please.
Parkland.
Yes.
Walling. Yes. Mahler.
Yes.
Schott.
Yes.
Stein. Yes.
Moving on to new business. First item under new business is resolution setting a schedule for the 2023 yard waste disposal dates and procedures. This resolution would set the 2023 schedule for all non-burning disposal of yard waste to be collected on Wednesdays only, beginning April 5th, 2023 and ending December 6th, 2023. It will also set the procedures in which yard waste disposal will have to follow to be collected. Need a motion, please?
I make a motion, we pass a resolution setting a schedule for the 2023 yard waste disposal dates and procedures.
I'll second.
Discussion?
Just thought it'd be a good time. I just kind of thought of this, but we do have the area out at the garbage department for logs, brush, yard waste that people are more than welcome to bring stuff to. There's some, I did order some signs to go out there. I just want to take a time to remind everyone, there is tires out there that we collect for compliance issues, different things like that. But to get rid of those, we have to pay for those. So people cannot dump tires out at that facility. If you have tires and want to dispose of them, you can contact City Hall, let them know and pay for that. And then also there's no going through late at night through dumpsters or anything like that, taking apart appliances or anything like that. I don't know if Eric's going to talk about that, but we had an issue this last Thursday night. I think it was Thursday night.
So obviously the city goes around and pick up appliances for some of the residents and stuff, and they have a area where they keep those until the recycler can come and pick them up, and we had some people just going through them. So it's late at night, the officers having to catch them there and just kind of trespass them from the area. So that's something just Josh and I discussed. I want to make sure people are aware of that. I don't think people are supposed to be dumping appliances or anything here, as well as picking up or taking.
Well, they can, if you want to bring appliances out there, that's okay, because we do not have to pay for those to get rid of them. But if you call City Hall and have an appliance that you would like us to come to your house to pick up, there is a charge for that. And also to note, which another one of our signs, we have a lot of signs up there, but I just don't think they're going as noticed as they should. There's dumpsters outside. Those are rental dumpsters. Those are some of the free sharing dumpsters that we have. Great program, but you cannot dump stuff in those. And, you know, once we get going with the wastewater plant and stuff, there will be some automatic gates installed in that area and at the wastewater plant. And, you know, it might be something that in the future we'll have to look at, you know, having that closed during certain times, you know, 7 at night till 7 in the morning or something like that. So the officers do go out there quite often because the dog pounds out there and they do drive around and stuff. So if you want to go out there, you might get caught dumping something. You're gonna get a ticket. So.
And fine, right?
Yeah. And just speaking of, we were talking about yard waste, so there's no yard waste burning in the springtime. So we will follow the recommendation we had last fall. Just put that out, I think yesterday or today, to let the officers know that we're going to be finding those persons that are burning out of season. So
this program is tremendously popular in Perry.
yeah,
Oh, yeah.
Everybody I talk to, a lot of them are really wondering what's going on now and love trimming up their trees and dragging them out there.
Yeah.
It's working well.
And it's helped the employees out a lot too, because, you know, before it might have taken them, you know, sometimes 3 truckloads in a day to do it. And it's really went down. Like a lot of people are really utilizing it. So it's good. And I will say the yardways side of it, I have seen nothing out there that has been not there. I mean, maybe like a little bit of boards or something like that, that somebody probably didn't know, but you know, not like in the past where we had a garage door metal in there, or at one time, an entire garage. Somebody brought an entire garage to the dump site. So kudos to the residents.
Yeah, I was gonna say, the cameras help,
Yep, yeah, yep.
and the signage is good.
It's a good program, but it takes a small number of people sometimes to put a program in jeopardy. So let's hope it can continue, because as Dean indicated, it's a very popular program and a very worthwhile program. Thank you. Any further discussion? If not, call the roll, please.
Walling.
Yes.
Mahler.
Yes.
Berkeley.
Yes.
Schott.
Yes.
Klein.
Yes.
Thank you. Next item on our new business, resolution approving tax payment application for residential construction completed or to be completed in 2023 in Perry, Iowa. The purpose of the tax abatement program is to promote new residential construction and renovation in the city of Perry by reducing the amount of property tax homeowners pay on new construction, rehabilitation, and or major improvements. Citizens wanting to make those improvements must apply to the city council for tax abatement and be approved by resolution. Once approved by the council, applications are submitted to the Dallas County Assessor for review and for the tax exemption. A list of current applicants was included with our packet today. Need a motion, please?
I'll make a motion to approve resolution approving tax abatement applications for residential construction completed on or to be completed in 2023 in Perry, Iowa.
I'll second that.
Discussion?
Great to see things happening.
What's that?
It's great to see things happen.
Yes.
I think I've mentioned this before. This is also legislative topic. I think it's SSF 1125. The bill with local option sales tax also has a little mention that they would no longer allow residential tax abatement after July 1st of 2024. So I'm not sure if that's programs grandfathered in, or if that's, you know, new programs, but that is in there. So again, if you're having conversations, please mention how important that program is to the success of our community.
And it has been very important, I think.
What's that bill number?
I think it's 1125.
Yeah.
Any further discussion on the tax abatement applications? If not, call the roll, please.
Klein.
Yes.
Walling.
Yes.
Berkeley.
Yes.
Mahler.
Yes.
Schott.
Yes.
Next item, resolution appointing a representative to the Heart of Iowa Regional Transit Agency Transportation Advisory Group. As a community stakeholder with Heart of Iowa Regional Transit Agency, HRTA, providing services to the community, the city can appoint a voting member and alternate to request them on the Transportation Advisory Group tag. This appointment will be for a calendar year, and it is recommended that Deputy Library Director Misty Von Baron be appointed for the year 2023, with Mindy Farmer being the alternate. Need a motion, please?
I make a motion to pass a resolution appointing a representative to the Heart of Iowa Regional Transit Agency Transportation Advisory Group.
I'll second.
Any discussion?
So I think I've been the community representative for the tag committee. But I know Misty has been working with them on a project here in Perry, so in an effort to delegate and elevate things off my plate and give them to somebody that loves doing it and is good at it. Had a conversation with Misty and she was up to taking this role, so.
Thank you, Misty.
Thank you, Misty.
Thank you. Thank you, Misty and Mindy. Any further discussion? Again, thanks. If not, call the roll, please.
Mahler.
Yes.
Line.
Yes.
Berglund.
Yes.
Walling.
Yes.
Schott.
Yes.
Thank you. Having no further business before us tonight, we are adjourned at 6:40 p.m. Thank you.